Hello everyone, welcome to a new section. So in this section I am going to discuss about the structure of power system. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe as we upload new videos all the time. Now let's jump in and get started. The main components of an electric power system are generating stations, transmission lines, and distribution systems. First one, generating stations. As we know that electrical energy having greater flexibility, that is we can transfer it from one place to another using conductors. Next property is its non-polluting nature, that is it doesn't create any undesirable products. Then third property is that electrical energy can be generated and transported through bulk quantity in a large distance and in most economical way. Next property is its interconvertibility. That is, electrical energy is the only energy in the world which can be converted from one form to another. For example, heat energy can be converted to electrical energy and vice versa. That is, electrical energy can be converted to heat energy. In case of generator, mechanical energy is converted to electrical energy, and in case of motor, this electrical energy is converted into mechanical energy. In the case of wind energy, which can be converted into electrical energy, and also in the case of solar, this can be converted into electrical energy. Chemical energy can be converted into electrical energy, and so on. So we can say that electrical energy is interconvertible. As we have already described many generating power stations, right? In our Kerala, Pallivasal is example for hydroelectric power station which are having a capacity of 37.5 megawatts. Power station located in Brahmapura, which is an example for thermal power station which are having a capacity of 106.6 megawatts, and wind farms located in Kozhikode having a capacity of 2.03 megawatts, and in Ramakalmed having a capacity of 10.50 megawatts. So next we can discuss about the transmission lines. Transmission lines are the component which connects the generating stations to a distribution system, which also connects one power system to another. We can take transmission lines in detail because it's a vast topic. So next we can move to distribution systems. As I have already mentioned in the previous videos, in our country electric power is generated at a voltage of 11 to 25 kV, which then is stepped up to the transmission levels in the range of 66 to 765 kV. The voltages are expected to rise to higher voltages in the near future because higher voltages can reduce the losses. In India, several 765 kV lines are already in operation. The first step down of voltage from transmission level is at the range of 33 to 132 kV, depending on the transmission line voltage. Some industries may record power at these voltage levels. The next step down in voltage is at the distribution substation. Normally, two distribution voltage levels are employed. First one is the primary or feeder voltage, that is 11 kV. Second one, the secondary or consumer voltage, that is 415 volts 3 phase or 230 volts in single phase. From this, power gets supplied to the domestic or industrial and commercial consumers. Then let's discuss in brief about the distribution system design, planning and operation. As compared to transmission system, distribution system consists of much higher number of branches and sources, and also the general structure or topology is quite different. A typical distribution system consists of a step down example 66 bar 11 kV on-load tap changing transformer at a bulk supply point feeding a number of cables of different lengths, and a series of step down three phase transformers example 11 kV bar 415 volt in India are spread along the route from where the consumers are supplied through three phase 4 wire networks giving 230 volt. So I think you can very clearly get from the figure. The main criteria for designing a distribution system are service conditions, electrical design, mechanical design, and various costs. In service conditions, mainly load study is carried out. Main loads are domestic, commercial, industrial, municipal trash, and so on. So, let's discuss some of the components of distribution system. First one, primary distribution. Second one, distribution transformer. Then next, secondary distribution, and last, consumer service connections. These are chosen based on the proper voltage, location, sizes, and protective equipment. A low tension distribution system consists of feeders, distributors, and service mains. First one, feeder. A line or conductor which is used to connect the main station to the distributor is called an feeder. Second one, distributor. A line or conductor to which various consumers are connected through service mains are called as distributor. Third one, service main. A line which can be a conductor or cable which connects the consumer to the distributor is called as service main. Then next, we can describe some of the classification of distribution system. First one, according to the type of current, we can classify distribution system into DC distribution and AC distribution. Then second, according to construction, we can classify the distribution system into overhead distribution system and underground distribution system. We can discuss these two distribution system in detail in further section. Then third classification is according to service. General lighting and power, industrial power, railway, and street lighting. Then next classification is according to the number of wires. 2 wire, 3 wire, and 4 wire. The next classification is according to a scheme of connection. Radial system, ring system, or we can say parallel system or loop system. The next one is network or grid system or interconnector system. So let's discuss everything in detail. Direct current is necessary for the electrochemical works, for the operation of variable speed machinery, DC motor, etc. For this purpose, at the substation, alternating current is converted into direct current and is then distributed by 2-wire system and 3-wire systems. The next, AC distribution. The electric power or energy is generated, transmitted, and distributed in the form of alternating current. Then, why AC signal is in sinusoidal form? Why can't be it in square, triangle, or any other forms? Can you give an answer? Please give it in the comment box. I will describe it in later. Then next, there are two types of AC distributions. First one is primary distribution, the system in which electric power is transmitted at generating voltages such as 11 kV or 6.6 kV or 3.3 kV to different substations for distribution or to big consumers, example industries, factories, etc. Second one is secondary distribution system, the system in which electric power is distributed at 400 or 230 volt to various consumers, example residential consumers. Next, we can discuss about the classification based on the scheme of connections. First one is radial system. It is the most common distribution system. This serves the light and medium density load areas. Feeders are not tapped in between the transmission substation and the distribution substations, while distributors are trapped throughout at several points to serve the consumers. The next classification is parallel or loop system. This system ensures the continuity of supply even if any fault occurs in one path as the alternate path is available. So this system is more reliable than the radial system. The next classification is network or grid system of distribution. This is preferred for large distribution areas for large loads which have to be supplied with greater reliability with all other advantages of grid system. This system gives better voltage regulation as feeder length is small as compared to the radial distribution. Next, we can discuss the section and size of feeders. Feeders carry current from one substation to another or to transformer or a feeding point and are not tapped in between. They are loaded at substations only. Voltage control can be done at the feeding points. Even though Kelvin's law has several limitations and may not give the optimal results, size of the cable conductors is chosen by application of Kelvin's law. which says that the most economical size of the conductor will be when the sum of the annual charge on the capital investment and the annual charge due to loss of energy in transmission would be minimum. That is, annual charge on the cost of cable and distribution is equal to P1 plus P2 into A. The cost of the energy loss per year is equal to P3 by A, where A is the cross-sectional area of the conductor. P1 is the constant part of the annual charge. P2 is the part of the annual charge dependent on A. So the economic condition is P2A is equal to P3 by A. Voltage V is less than or equal to 220 kV. Selection of conductor is done based on current carrying capacity. For voltage V is greater than 220 kV, selection of conductor is done based on corona or electric field intensity. In India, the standard voltages used for primary distribution are 3.3 kV, 6.6 kV, 11 kV, and 3-phase 3-wire. The most economical distance between the substations and hence the number of substations in the system is a function of the distribution voltage used. The primary feeders may have a rating between 500 kVA to 2500 kVA. Often a distribution system is designed for total voltage drop of 8 to 10%. The neutral of the distribution system is grounded properly and protection against lighting is provided. For very long distance over 600 km, it is economical to transmit bulk power by DC transmission as compared to AC transmission due to some technical problems. The DC voltages used are 400 kV and above, and the line is connected to the AC systems at the two ends through a transformer and converting or inverting equipment. So we can discuss high voltage DC in a different section because it's a vast topic. Now let's move to some of the previous year questions. First question, which is asked in Civil Service Examination 2009. What is the primary consideration in designing the conductor size of EHV lines? Options are A. Voltage drop, B. Current density, C. Corona, D. Voltage drop and current density. Voltage transmitted through EHV lines is more than 220 kV. So selection of conductor is done based on corona or electric field intensity. So the answer is option C, corona. Let's move to the next question. Which two items are connected by a tie line? Option A, two power stations. Option B, power station and load center. Option C, two generators. Option D, systems in two areas. In India, there are 5 regional grids. That is, modern power systems are divided into various areas. They are northern, southern, eastern, western, and northeastern. These areas are connected with tie lines. Load frequency control between areas are through tie lines. So the answer is option D, systems in two areas. So let's move to the next question. That is the selection of size of conductors for a distributor in a distribution system is governed by option A, corona loss, B, temperature rise, C, radio interference, D, voltage drop. Size of distributor is designed based on voltage drop, whereas in the case of feeder, that is based on current carrying capacitor. So the option D is the right answer, that is voltage drop. So let's wind up the section. I hope you can follow my videos. Don't forget to share with others. And for more basic knowledge on electrical, keep watching the channel. Thank you and have a nice day.